Hey, it's Dan Phoenix here. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why it is not inhumane to slaughter and eat animals, unlike what the vegans tend to believe and preach to people left, right and center. And the reason why I'm making this video, I was a vegan for almost 6 years. I quit late of last year due to the vegan diet destroying my health holistically, where I couldn't even function in my everyday life. If you want to know the ins and outs about that, I put a link for the video up above. And when it really got my health to rock bottom, I was like, I need to do something. I started craving animal foods. So I started incorporating high quality pasture-raised animal foods into my diet. And it made me regain my health. And this was quite some time ago now, because this was back in November of last year. And I am still thriving and I function and feel the best to my ability, better than I ever felt in my whole entire life. And I know when I was contemplating making the switch, I felt really bad, because one of the main reasons I was on a vegan diet was due to the so-called ethical reasons. And then once I started eating the animal foods, there was times where I was feeling really bad about it emotionally, and like, oh man, this is not good. I don't like paying for this. I just had all of that brainwashing and programming from the vegans that had just brainwashed me like crazy. And it was very hard for me at times emotionally to continue on that path, even though I was thriving from eating those animal foods, and I'm still thriving on them now until this day. So this video is for people that are in a very similar situation. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is, okay, yes, you do have to take an animal's life. And there are certain factory farming methods, especially in third world countries, which when they end the animal's life, it is in a very horrific way. Sometimes they boil them, sometimes they just beat them like repeatedly. Like, I'm not pro that whatsoever. I am pro the most humane ways of ending their lives. So stunning them and then ending their life with either cutting their neck or doing some other thing. So yeah, it's not completely inhumane. I will definitely say that. A lot of people will not say whatsoever. I'm not saying it is 100% humane in any way, shape or form, but it's definitely one of the most humane ways. But if we look at animals in the natural environment, and I actually watched a lot of videos before I made this video of hyenas, for example, eating certain animals alive. I'm not going to show you the video, but it is really horrific. The animal is just lying there and it's alive, and it is eating it very slowly, because obviously a hyena does not have some big weapon just to really quickly end their life as quickly as they possibly can. And the animal is just lying there in pain and suffering. It's just going on and on for ages. Then I watched some videos on piranhas and them eating birds, and they just tear them to shreds. And then there's lions and crocodiles, and they just eat the animals live time and time again. And it's normally quite a slow process for their life to actually be fully ended. But when you compare that to pasture-raised meats, where they kill them in the most humane ways possible, and it causes them the least suffering, and then you compare it to if they were in their natural environment and the predators that would come after them, and then they have the old chase, and then they're eating them while they're alive, that is way worse. Just go and watch some of those videos on YouTube. It is a real eye opener. So for example, in an ideal vegan world for the vegans out there, we just let free all of the cows and the pigs and chickens and all of the animals that we farm, so we can then eat their meat. They go back into their natural environment, and what will happen is they will keep multiplying, and if they keep doing that, they are just going to eat people's crops left, right and center, mess up people's gardens. It's just going to get out of control. So you need a lot of natural predators in the environment to keep them under control. Otherwise, it's just going to get completely out of control. And you even have it with certain places in America where you just have deer that are in abundance that just run out into the roads and they cause accidents, and it's just not a good thing for many different reasons. So yeah, let them all back out there and let them be chased by those predators and make them have the most slowest, painful death that they could possibly have. Yes, it is probably on par with like the worst factory farming methods out there, where they really just make them suffer as much as possible and they don't kill them in the most humane ways possible. Like I said, I'm not pro that whatsoever. But at the end of the day, we are a predator, and we have eaten meat for around 2 million years, as proven. You can do your research up online to find out more about this. And it is something that is one of the most nutrient rich foods that just gives you so many things that are almost non-existent on a vegan diet, are very hard to get on a vegan diet, or they don't really exist in vegan foods whatsoever. And that is why science has even proven around 70% of vegans go back to eating meat. If you want to hear me talk about that in more detail, click the link for the video up above. And there is just so many people left, right and center that do the vegan diet on point. They listen to all the vegan science that they read up, and all the vegan doctors and preachers and vegan social media influencers that say it's the best diet for human beings, and they do their best to make it work. A lot of people feel really good in the short term, because guess what? Most people normally come from a crappy diet, they remove most of the crap, get on like a typical sort of whole food plant-based vegan diet, and of course you're going to feel better. But long term, the majority of people end up going back to meat and other animal foods because it is not a sustainable diet. And if it was such an optimal diet, why is it that so many people end up failing? Which is not failing, but that's what vegans say. They said you never did it right, you did it completely wrong, and you needed to just go to this doctor and get this test done and that and that and that and make it work. And I tried so many of those things and it did work at times, but inevitably it just ended up destroying my health. Like so many other people that I've interviewed on this channel, have so many ex-vegan interviews of people that have even been vegan for almost 20 years that had their health destroyed due to the malnourishing vegan diet, not giving them all of the nutrition that they needed to thrive and not have any nutritional deficiencies. And it's so funny because vegans live in a fallacy, because they believe that a vegan diet is a non-violent diet. So it is the most ethical diet possible. But most vegans are eating plant foods that come from monocrops. I've talked about this many times before on this YouTube channel. And guess what? When a farmer chooses to grow monocrops, they end up destroying all of the soil, so it ends up becoming very, very depleted. They absolutely destroy the whole environment that was naturally there. They get rid of all the animals that are there, and any pests that come along whilst they are growing their crops, they absolutely terminate their life fully. And then when they're cropped, they actually end up in the combine harvesters, grinding up certain animals. That's why they have so many birds flying above the combine harvester behind it to eat up the animals that it has ground up. And then there's the heavy use of pesticides and fungicides that just run off into natural water sources. And there's just many other negative effects from those sources. Like just look into California and almond, because these monocrops in California are one of the most heavily water irrigated crops in the world. It is absolutely so detrimental to our environment in many different ways. And yeah, we have so many vegans that say eat your almonds and eat these things and that are just coming from monocrops, and it's just absolutely bad. But if you look into a book called Sacred Cow and look at pasture-raised beef, for example, 97% of the water for the cattle comes from rainwater. So if they're on land or not, they're still going to have that amount of water land on the natural environment. So actually, they may say, the vegans, that the cows actually use up a lot of water, but most of it is coming from natural sources from the rain, and it will be there whether they're there or not. So it's not actually detrimental to the environment. And even if you looked at factory farm cows, around 95% of their water actually comes from rainwater. Unlike almonds, where it almost all comes from water irrigation, which they're taking water from natural sources, which is then in turn depleting those natural sources of water, which is not something you want to be happening whatsoever. It's not good due to many different reasons. So this is why it's a fallacy with the vegan movement. They say it's the most ethical diet that is not harming animals, and that's not true whatsoever. It's just an absolute illusion that they tend to believe. And this is why it's a fallacy with the vegan diet. They think that it is the most non-violent diet, but any food pretty much out there that you're going to buy, vegan or not, is going to be harming some animal or some person, because there's a lot of slave labor that's out there as well. Like dates, look into Israeli dates, which vegans eat a lot, and you definitely want to boycott Israeli dates. They steal the land from the people, they do really horrific things to them, they enslave them, and they make them work on the date farms for free. So again, someone is being harmed in the process of these plant foods being produced for these vegans and non-vegans to eat in an abundance. And yeah, it's just so many things. And I'm always talking to people about this in my everyday life. I was one of these vegans that was just absolutely blind. I had my vegan blinkers on and all I could see was what the vegans was telling me. But I never questioned it, I never looked into it. But once I got out of that vegan diet and that whole vegan religion that was very dogmatic and idealistic, I was like, actually seems that this vegan movement is actually a vegan cult and they're just serving their own agenda. But what they're saying necessarily isn't true. And this is what I'd say for anyone that is going to go back to animal foods. Just keep away from factory farm animal food sources as much as possible. They're definitely not best for the environment and your health, and for many other reasons it's just not the most ideal. Try and always get pasture-raised animal food sources where the food sources are antibiotic free, hormone free, and they are just fed a diet that they are designed for, which when you actually find pasture raised, that means they're fed a diet that they're actually designed for. They're not fed things such as grains, soy and corn. But as we know, we're going to get vegans comment on this that say you're completely incorrect. But again, they're just in that bubble. They don't want to see outside of it. It's like someone that's in a very extreme religion. They just do not want to believe anything outside of their religion and their belief system. They're not very open-minded whatsoever. They're very attached to what they believe, and they just want to discredit anything that goes against what they believe and what they preach left, right and centre to try and get people to go vegan. So that's it from me in this video. Got any questions? Leave them down below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Make sure you do click that subscribe button. Otherwise, you won't be notified of when those new videos are uploaded. Don't delay. I know you are. Come on, click it. Come on. Thank you. And don't forget to click the bell, otherwise you will not be notified of when those new videos are uploaded. So as always, stay fit, stay energetic and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.